What's up, guys, and welcome to my basement, or should I say my DIY Peloton studio. So I wanted to take this opportunity and give you guys a chat all about how and why we decided to hack or DIY our own Peloton or Peloton bike. Let's get into all those details. Get a drink, get comfortable, let's chat.
Let's get into it. This is Barely Keeping It Together.
Okay, so I'm going to start this conversation as if you don't know anything about Peloton. So if you do and you're irritated, just kind of skip ahead. I will mark down in the comments below all of the key points of what we're gonna go over in this video, because I'm going to tell you all about why we did it, how we did it, what we bought to do it, our cost savings, and then at the end, I'm gonna go through the pros and cons of creating your own Peloton experience at home. First, let's start with what is Peloton. So Peloton started out just originally as a spin bike that you could purchase and use at home and do your spin workouts at home. It then expanded to have all kinds of classes. And if you guys have watched the video, I will link it above if you haven't, how I lost 25 pounds in 2020, you will know that I do all sorts of Peloton workouts already without the spin bike using the Peloton app and my treadmill, which is in the garage. Because I'm already sort of in this Peloton world and I was super interested in their classes and I know all the instructors, etc., I've always wanted to get the Peloton bike. If you guys know anything about me, I live in the Chicago area and you guys, it's so cold here. I didn't work out for a week because it was in the negatives, and my workout area is in the garage. I have a garage gym with a treadmill. It was too cold for me to work out in my garage gym. That made me move my weights down here to the basement, which I really enjoyed because I wasn't freezing my ass off every time I came to work out downstairs. Now, there is one huge con, which is why it holds people back from purchasing the Peloton bike, which is cost. It is expensive, you guys. Now, Peloton now offers two bikes. They have the Peloton original bike, and then they have the Bike Plus, which is their brand new bike with some additional features. The Peloton original bike was just lowered to the price of $1,895. That is just the bike with no other accessories like the shoes and the mat that you need to get it set up at your house. Then they have the Bike Plus, which is their new upgraded bike, the one I would want to get because who doesn't want all the features, which is $2,495. So $2,500 plus tax. I want to say delivery is included. Then there is a 7 to 10 week delivery window at this time. And throughout quarantine, the delivery times have gone up and down. I know Peloton is currently investing in lowering their delivery times so it's more accessible for people to get. Now, the other option is you could always buy a used Peloton bike, and that was where I thought I was gonna go with this because I really wanted a Peloton and the Peloton experience. But guess what? Because purchasing a used Peloton means you get it right away, people have been able to add a premium cost to that. So therefore, used Peloton bikes go for the same price as new Peloton bikes. It's just that there's no delivery wait time. You just pick it up in your local area at somebody's house. So you're actually not saving any money. Plus, then on top of it, once you have the bike, it is $39 a month for a subscription to use the bike for unlimited members of your household, but it's an additional cost on top of the bike. That being said, I've always loved my Peloton workouts and my Peloton classes, and I really, really wanted it, but it was just cost prohibitive. So if you are interested in what we did to set ours up, I'm gonna link everything down below that we purchased, but what we decided to do was get the Sunny bike with the magnetic resistance and the flywheel of 44 pounds. It is a little pricier than some of the other options of home spin bikes, and I'm gonna get into that in a couple minutes here, but let me tell you what we bought first. So we got that Sunny bike, which was $599. Then we bought our own mat, which was just under $24. And then we also bought the cadence tracker, which was $39.99, which allows us to be able to see how fast our pedals are going, which is part of the Peloton programming. We ended up spending $662.12, and that is between the bike, the mat, and the cadence tracker that we purchased all on Amazon with 2-day delivery. If you compare that to the $18.95 of the lower price Peloton bike or the $24.95 of the higher price Peloton bike, we saved either $1,232.88 or $1,832.88. That is almost $2,000 in savings. And by the way, that's not even if you got the Peloton mat and shoes, which you do need if you get the Peloton bike. So we will have saved over $2,000 compared with the new Peloton bike. Another really important factor to discuss is if you get the Peloton bike in home, you are required, if you want to access the classes, to pay the $39 membership fee per month, and that's for the whole house to have access to all the classes. Now with the hack, what you do is you use the app on either an iPad or an iPhone, which is only $12.99 a month. So you do have $17 savings there in terms of your monthly cost. But you're either on one membership or you need multiple memberships. So either way, if each spending $12.99, it's less than the $30 membership for the two of us. But if you buy the bike, you are required to buy that if you want to have access to the classes at home. So let me get into the logistics of why we chose to go with the $599 Amazon bike versus some of the price points that are around the $300 to $375 on Amazon. So there's a couple of factors within spin bikes that make them higher or lower quality. We decided to go for the highest quality just because we wanted to make sure it would last long term and just we would be successful with biking with it in the house. So one major factor is the weight of the flywheel of the bike. What the flywheel is it's the front wheel of the spin bike. Now, the heavier it is, the more stable the bike is when you're spinning. So we decided to go with the bike with the 44-pound flywheel. That is the heaviest flywheel that we found on Amazon. There may or may not be heavier, but in terms of sort of this range of bike, that is the heaviest. Peloton doesn't advertise how much their flywheel actually weighs on their bike. So people think it's somewhere between 35 and 45 pounds. So we're right within that range of the Peloton flywheel weight. Now, the second factor is how the resistance of the bike works. Basically, on these higher end bikes, you have two different types of resistance. You either have physical resistance, which is through felt or leather, or you have magnetic resistance. And that is what is making the wheel heavier and lighter when you turn up the resistance on the bike. We decided to go with the magnetic resistance because it is considered to be sort of a better way to have resistance. It's longer term. The magnet isn't going to wear out. Whereas if you have felt or you have leather, that could wear over time. Now, leather being better than felt, that would have been our second choice. There is a Sunny bike in the $300 to $400 price point that has a leather resistance over the felt resistance. If you guys are interested in that, that's also supposed to be a great bike. Again, we decided to go with a bike that we thought would last the longest with the heaviest flywheel and then the better resistance, which is the magnetic resistance. Another thing about this bike, just to be aware of, there is no measurement of speed, which is also known as cadence, or resistance. So this bike doesn't actually plug in at all. To me, that was a benefit because I can put this bike wherever I want it, whether we move, etc. It can just go anywhere. You don't ever have to plug it in. Now, I use the iPad or my iPhone to watch my Peloton classes, which of course I charge in advance. And then the cadence tracker, which is tracking how quickly my feet are going and Bluetooth connects to the app, is completely battery free. Another factor I want to mention about the magnetic resistance versus the physical resistance is this bike is virtually silent, which is again going to be more similar to the Peloton bike than some of the other spin bikes that are out there. So it's another reason we love this bike. I didn't realize how silent it would be. When I'm on this bike, I'm shocked how quiet it is. I know that Peloton, like one of their selling features is that it's made to be so quiet that you could bike next to somebody who's asleep and not wake them up. I think you could do the same thing with this. Now that I've been riding the bike at home for the last few days, I wanted to give you a comprehensive list of all of my pros and cons so you can decide what it is that you want to do. If you want a DIY Peloton, if you want the real Peloton, or if you want no Peloton at all. So the first pro is obviously price. You are saving a lot of money doing a Peloton. You're saving well over $1,000. Plus you're also saving the cost of the membership is used on the app every month. So that is a huge benefit to doing it this way. Second benefit to doing this bike is that you don't need to have an electrical outlet anywhere. So you can literally set this up no matter where, versus a Peloton, you have the screen, so you absolutely need to plug that in no matter what. A pro that I am experiencing now that I have the bike versus just having done the treadmill and the app is that there are so many Peloton bike classes. I am so used to using the Peloton app with the treadmill outside. One of the huge pros to doing the cycling is that there are so many classes. Now, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of tread classes, but there is an insane amount of cycling classes. If you get favorite instructors, which by the way, you will get favorite instructors, on the treadmill, I would run out of classes from my favorite instructors. Here, it feels like there's nonstop material to work. Another huge pro to cycling on the Peloton is that there are so many different beginner classes. So if you're brand new to this, which they have beginner, and then they have advanced beginner where they go through all of the basics, they introduce you to everything, they make you super comfortable on the bike as you get into the workouts as well. And I'm assuming that they get increasingly more difficult as you get into longer and harder rides as well. I'm currently doing like 30-minute advanced beginner rides versus I'm sure I'll get into some more intense stuff later on. So I absolutely love and how they really introduce you to how to ride a bike because it's not that natural. I also love how many instructors there are. There's so many instructors to choose from depending on the type of person that you like. I personally love a motivational instructor. I know my brother would rather like not be like motivated by somebody. He finds that very cringy. So there's all different types of instructors and there's all different types of music. Another huge benefit of this particular bike is that it is virtually silent. You guys, I literally cannot believe how quiet it is. Maybe my treadmill is just super loud, but I love how silent this bike is, and I can't speak more highly to that. A huge benefit of going with this bike over a Peloton bike is the delivery time. If you order a Peloton bike today, in my area, you're waiting 7 to 10 weeks. And by the way, I live in Chicago, so it's not even rural America. I don't even know how long it would be in rural America. So 7 to 10 weeks for delivery of a bike is a long time versus we ordered this on Amazon and it was here in 2 days, as well as all the accessories that we ordered were here in 2 days. So you don't have that backlog of waiting. Something that a lot of new cycling and spin class users experience is something called saddle seat, which is the pain in your crotch and butt from sitting on this bike seat for the first time. I will give a huge thumbs up to this Sunny bike. The seat hasn't bothered me at all, and I haven't used a spin bike in like probably a year and a half. So I highly recommend this bike. The seat is incredibly comfortable. Let's get into what some of the cons are of doing the DIY Peloton bike. I tried to think of as many cons as possible because I want this to be so informative for you guys so you can make an educated decision about if this is the best route to go to for you. Now, by the way, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me down in the comments below because I love to help you. I love chatting with you guys. So let me know and I'll tell you my honest opinion on literally anything. I mean anything. It doesn't even have to be bike related. You feel me? Let's get into what some of the cons are. So this is the biggest con that anyone is gonna have against doing your own DIY Peloton. When you take a Peloton class, you are measuring your cadence, which is the speed that you're moving your feet. You are measuring the resistance, which is how hard you're biking against. And then they have what they combine as an output number, which is the combination of your cadence and your resistance. When you do a DIY Peloton, you cannot measure your resistance in the same scale that they are. So what the hack for this is measuring your cadence either through the bike. Some bikes have that, mine did not, which is why I got the additional cadence tracker to measure how fast my feet is going on the app. And then from seeing how fast my feet are going, plus my brain of how hard it feels like I'm pushing, I can kind of gauge where they're saying a flat road is versus a hill is. I can kind of figure out what that is, but I do not have a number that I'm turning to, so it is a guessing game. Whereas on the Peloton bike, you can spin and see flat road is 20 to 30, and it will say it on your screen that you're at 20 to 30. Because you are guessing at your resistance based upon an educated guess with a combination of your cadence and your known effort that you're putting out versus the Peloton machine will actually tell you what number resistance you're at. Therefore, you also don't get that total output number. You just have your cadence. So that is the biggest con to doing a Peloton DIY Peloton bike. Con number 2 is that you have a smaller screen. So this, you're just either using your iPhone or your iPad and you're working off of a smaller screen, which leads me into con number 3. If you are like me and you use an Apple Watch to track all of your fitness, as well as your heart rate stuff, to the best of my knowledge, and if I'm wrong, you guys, please leave me a comment below. I would like to be wrong, is that I can only link my Apple Watch while actively doing a class to my phone and not my iPad. Therefore, when I'm taking a class, I'm only using the app on my iPhone, which is this small little screen, and my brother can use the iPad because he's not measuring his heart rate through an Apple Watch. Every time we switch classes, I have to turn off the iPad's Bluetooth so that the cadence tracker isn't connecting to the iPad, but rather connecting to my phone. So it's kind of a pain in the butt to have to only use your phone for the classes because, again, the smaller screen and switching between the iPad and the phone. I would like to be able to just use the iPad connected to my Apple Watch. So that's a big con to doing it this way versus if you actually have the brand new Peloton bike. If you just hit your Apple Watch to the screen, it's just gonna Bluetooth connect automatically. Goals, am I right? Another con is specific to the bike that we chose is that this has no clip-in options for your shoes. However, you can hack this and get the clip-on if you want. You can add pedals that are clip-in on one side and not clip-in on the other side. We're currently slipping into like a foot thing. Some of the bikes on Amazon do allow you to clip in. However, we chose to go with this bike because there was other features we liked better, but there are options on Amazon to purchase bikes that allow you to clip in. Another con, this is super nitpicky, but there is only one water bottle holder. I believe I could probably add a second water bottle holder, but I like to liquefy. Like I drink a lot and one smallish water bottle isn't enough for me for a workout. Another con specific to this bike that we chose versus some other bikes on Amazon do allow you to have this, and of course the Peloton has it, is there's no holder on here for our weights. Again, I think I can hack this and get the holder on there, but I know that there are Peloton classes that are 45 minutes with the weights to do some arm movements and, get a full body workout. So I would prefer to be able to have the weights attached to the bike versus like having to have a table or something next to me. My next con is, I guess, against spinning in general, not necessarily spinning on this bike, spinning on a Peloton bike, it's just against spinning in general. What I have found is I absolutely love my Peloton tread workouts because I can take a 20-minute workout and have it be hard, killer, badass workout that kicks my ass. But a 20-minute bike session, I don't think is ever gonna be that same level of cardio and kick-assness. In order to get a really great Peloton cardio session through biking, I think 30, 45, 60 minutes is gonna be a better class length. Whereas you can just slip in a 20-minute treadmill run and you're gonna get your ass kicked. I guess I've been spoiled over the last year and a half that I can do 20 or 30-minute runs and just feel like I got the best workouts ever. Maybe as I get into harder classes, it'll get harder if I do 20 or 30-minute classes, but what I have found is the 20-minute spin sessions are not difficult enough in terms of the cardiovascular output that I'm looking to do that early in the morning. I like to get my ass kicked. You feel me? Another con is that the app on an iPhone or an iPad is much less user-friendly compared to the actual Peloton Bike. If you've never used a Peloton Bike, or if you're already used to the app, this is not a problem. But for people who have used the Peloton Bike or aren't used to the app and need to search for classes, the app is not super user-friendly. You can't just search, you kind of have to scroll through. You need to know how to use the filters, etc. on the app. For me, it's not a con to have to do this because I'm used to the app and I've been using it for a couple years. But if you are not used to the app, I totally understand why it would be difficult to get used to using the app. Now, if you guys are like me and you are getting your life together in more ways than just your fitness, but also in terms of your home, your brain, your mental space, your goals, etc., then you are going to enjoy my Get Your Shit Together challenge, which is a 3-day video challenge that I put together. It is completely free, and I would love for you guys to join me on that. It is linked down in the description below. Join the Get Your Shit Together challenge, and we're just gonna get our shit together. All right, you guys, everything that I talked about today, I will link down in the description below. If you have any questions about my thoughts, opinions, comments, suggestions, etc., please leave me a comment down below and give this video a thumbs up if you guys enjoyed it today. As well as go follow me over on Instagram. My handle is Barely Keeping It Together. Otherwise, I will chat with you guys later. Bye.